Well, folks, back out here in the bush. We've had 2 or 3 inches of snow since we were out here making wood with Colin and the tractor. But we've got not enough snow to be worried about. And a forest ranger backed right up to a log here. Let's take a look. I don't know if you noticed on the video with Colin, he went to pick up one log and there was a piece on the end of it that was still attached. Yeah, just give it a kick, it'll come apart. Yeah, couldn't get it come off without starting chainsaw and bucking it up. Well, there it is. There's that nice big chunk. And looks to me like I'll make it into 4 pieces of firewood. And we have, let's see, what else have we got here? There was another one that was, oh yes, it's right here, that he moved out with the tractor. That is pine. That'll make some firewood too. And then down there in the bush, of course, he skidded up some logs that I can easily back in there with Forest Ranger now and make up some firewood. So, looks like we've got something to go for. I don't have my tripod bracket here today. Maybe I'll see if I can get the other camera to work. Okay. Well, I've got to add a little bit of oil to my trusty power saw here. Oh, I filled it up with gas at home. The oil laying over here. I sharpened it up at home too. Oh, it's full of oil. Good enough. Okay. That's right, I filled it with oil the other time when I dumped in some gas that I used to wash out a jug, and it was just a little bit too rich. I didn't want to run. So when I filled it up at home just now, all I did was dumped out the bad gas. Oh, yes. And we have this fancy tool here. Dad had a collection of them. I went down to Dad's place and got one. This is what they call a camp hook. It doesn't mean that you can't hook things with it. In days gone by in sawmilling, they called large logs that were only half cut into lumber cants. And to roll them around, they used cant hooks. And that's where the name cant hook comes from. And the men who worked on sawmills who rolled over half-cut logs so they could finish cutting them were called cantermen. Now on the mill themselves, they usually used a cant hook that was half this size. But when they were cutting big logs for railroad ties, then they used big ones like this. Now let me see, got everything here. Okay. Let's see what we can make out of this big tree. seems to be dull. So I'll have to dig out my trusty chainsaw for it. Aha! I found it. This will be better. In filing a saw, the one side you have to hang on to the bar and have nothing to hold on to besides just the butter to file that direction. So I always do that side of the bar first. All the teeth pointing one direction, you have to file one way because the teeth are filed at an angle. And all the teeth on the other side of the bar point the other way. And you can hang on to the saw, tuck the saw underneath your elbow, and really wail on it to sharpen them when you're cutting it that way. So it's best to sharpen all the teeth that are on the far side of the blade as the bar first. So there we have it. Cut up that one big chunk. Made 4 pieces of firewood. And put a nice bit in the back of Forest Ranger. And I get to see how things are here. So I think that next day I make wood here, I'm going to hook up to the trailer. We have a trailer that hauls exactly a cord of wood. It was built on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. Has a 4x8 sheet of plywood for each side, a 4x4 sheet in the front and open at the back, and one axle. And it pulls easily behind Forest Ranger. So let's get a nice view of that afternoon sunset here. Yeah. A few days I'll try making another load of wood. This time I'll make it with the trailer. So long.